See You Now is a podcast highlighting the innovative and human-centered solutions that nurses are coming up with to solve for today's most challenging healthcare problems. Created in collaboration with Johnson & Johnson and the American Nurses Association, and hosted by nurse economist and health tech specialist Shauna Butler.
The Neuro Arts Blueprint is a strategic, dedicated plan to ensure that the arts in all of its forms are there for everyone, no matter where they are.
I would talk about seeing your life as an artist. You are an artist at something. Everyone is. Art comes from attention, intention, and doing what you love.
Even on the worst of days, I know I'm supposed to be here on the floor.
And that really requires a complex, choreographed approach that ensures that we bring the right messages to the right people.
And a part of that was I would write a song with the group of every session. It was fantastic.
But it is in service of one true thing, which is, I believe the arts are the highest form of hope. It is the arts that are really the vehicles that can help us heal.
I'm not your hero, I'm just doing what's right, doing my job, taking care of, so that life could be normal once again. Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, on the floor.
I began to take the knowledge I had about writing songs, about story, about trauma transference, about listening, and direct it towards frontline healthcare workers. And that was remarkable to me because the stories, they so paralleled the stories and emotions of veterans. It was mind-boggling.
I can do this right, and it's worth the fight. Lights up my heart and fills my soul on the floor. On the floor. Yes, on the floor. On the floor.
Welcome to See You Now in part 2 of our episode, Making Spirits Bright. I'm your host, Shauna Butler. In part 1, we learned from Science of the Arts expert, Susan Mag-Salmon, about the research and evidence supporting the restorative and invigorating power of the arts and aesthetics, about the Neuro Arts Blueprint and how it's bringing together a global network of those interested in all forms of art and creative expression for health, well-being, and learning, and that you don't need to be great or even good at something to experience the profound and enduring benefits that art and aesthetics have on our brains, bodies, and behavior. In this part 2, we meet a musician and singer-songwriter who's using his art, his expertise and insight as a listener, and his songwriting craft as a service to collaborate with and help the healing of those experiencing trauma. Listen in for what that collaborative songwriting experience sounds, feels, and heals like.
Hi, I'm Darden Smith, and I'm an artist and songwriter.
What kind of songs?
Well, I write all kinds of songs, you know. I tend to, when I'm writing songs for myself, I write songs that are stemming from my life, things I see. I don't really write very good fiction songs. I call them nonfiction. It's not because they're absolute fact, but it does come from a true emotion and a true event that sparked a thing. I started writing songs when I was really young, but by the time I hit 30, my mid-30s, life was so weird. I realized that it was an incredible source and well to pull songs from. It's like, why make stuff up? All I have to do is look around. It's all right there for me. I come from definitely a country music, folk background, Texas singer-songwriter thing, Guy Clark, Townes Van Zandt. That was my sort of, and Jackson Browne. So yeah, so that, coming out from that, that's the kind of music, it's all based in that. I would call it songs of truth, and sometimes the truth is because the best songs are true. I mean, and once again, it's not a nonfiction true. It's more, it's a more universal true. And sometimes those are nonfiction. But if you think, the reason that people love songs is because we see ourselves in a song. But the person that wrote the song sat in a room somewhere and mined their experience. Through that, they created a cup to hold this experience. It's this true thing. The reason that you saw yourself in that story is because they had the audacity to tell the truth. And we crave the truth. And we crave images that are built around it. And that's where the songcraft comes in. So we're able to see ourselves in someone else's story. It's the magic of when you attach lyric to melody. It does create a interesting palette. And you put words to emotions. And you create things for people to hold on to, you know?
Yeah, I'm smiling as you say that. And I'm thinking very specific pieces of music and how they take me to a place and they take me to a memory.
Right. They're time machines.
Yeah, they're time machines.
Songs are time machines. And, you know, I think about that song, the Lady Gaga song, Shallow. That was from The Star Is Born. It's like, wow, everybody knows that story. That's why it's a hit. Because everybody goes, yes, I'm in there. I am in that. And if you break that song down, it's really a pretty simple song. It's not really that mysterious. Written by some really good songwriters, but it's not like it's super complicated, you know. But there's something about the words and the melody that's really simple and true. That's the magic.
So this songwriting craft and this exercise, telling people stories, you've been doing a lot of work with this, not just yourself as an artist who's performing and telling your own stories. You've got a history of doing this. You've been working with a lot of different folks. So say more about the concept of songwriting and storytelling and healing.
It's a service. It's a service job. It started a long time ago, right around 2001. I began to be really bored with the entertainment business and music business. I'd already had some success and watched it all fall apart, and it was challenging. And I began looking around for different ways to use my skills. And I started this weird little offshoot of my life, which was called the Be an Artist program. And I went into schools, and it started with like elementary schools. And it gradually went up into the other grades through high schools and into colleges, where I would talk about seeing your life as an artist. You are an artist at something. Everyone is. And art comes from attention, intention, and doing what you love. And a part of that was I would write a song with the group of every session. It was fantastic. I'd have like 10 minutes to write a song with a room full of fifth graders. You know, it's like, it's so un-rock and roll. At the same time, it's the most rock and roll thing I've ever done. It's like, if they don't like you, they just put their head down on their desk and go to sleep. And I found that I loved it. That led to working at a homeless center in Newark, New Jersey, called Covenant House. There's Covenant Houses all over the country, but they work with homeless teenagers. And a friend of mine in New Jersey funded this work, and I would go in and I would write songs with these homeless teenagers, and that were as different from me as it could possibly be. And I heard all kinds of like really crazy stories. And I found that if I did not pretend like I knew what they were talking about, if I just acted like, okay, listen, I don't know anything about the streets of Newark. However, we're in this room together. I have a skill set. You have a story. Let's put it together and make something cool. And I found that they would tell me secrets. They would tell me the truth about what it's like to live as a homeless kid in Newark. Drugs, prostitution, I heard it all, I heard it all. And it was amazing. From that, I started doing some work with conflict resolution, Israeli-Palestinian groups, companies, couples, gangs, Crips and Bloods in the same room, get them to write a song together. We're just going to start doing it. While you're distracted by us writing a song, you're going to speak your truth. Where before you couldn't speak your truth. And you're going to listen to you're going to listen to someone else's truth that you did not want to listen to 5 minutes ago. You're going to hear it, and we're going to put all of our truth in the same song, and it's going to be a universal truth. But then I started working with veterans. I had never heard of people writing songs with veterans as an active exercise. People for thousands of years have written songs about veterans. I mean, folk music is based on this stuff. And people have written songs for veterans. But it's all written mostly in praise and hero worship or pitying. I'd never heard of anyone writing it from a collaborative level where it was an equal. I'm not putting you on a pedestal. I'm not pitying you. We're in this together. I don't have your story. You don't have my craft. Let's put them together and make something bigger. And to me, it was a untapped song field. That's what I call it. It was just this untapped stories that could be told in a new way. And so with a friend of mine, we started an organization called Songwriting with Soldiers. And for 8.5 years, I did a lot of that. It was amazing. It changed my life. I learned a lot of things. I learned about service. I learned that service is something you give. It's an active thing. Most of our culture is about service, but it's how was the service? And there's a lot of demands put on that. You give something, you put out. And that was an amazing mind change for me. So I learned the value of being on time. I was serious. And so I learned all these incredible life lessons from working with veterans. Changed my life. And then during the pandemic, I was on a conversation with a friend of mine who's a doctor in Boston named Ron Hirschberg. Works at Boston Mass General. We were talking. He was running a COVID ward in Boston, and like, "How you doing? What's going on?" Da, da, da. And I was like, "Wow, man, could I help? Like, what if we wrote some songs? You know?" And he said, "Absolutely." I began to take the knowledge I had about writing songs, about story, about trauma transference, about listening, and direct it towards frontline healthcare workers. And that it was remarkable to me because the stories, they so paralleled the stories and emotions of veterans. It was mind-boggling.
In what way?
The feeling of complete dedication to the craft, the complete dedication to the team, like the feeling of we are in this together. Like they'll go to the mat for the person right next to them. These healthcare workers, it's like the team that's around them. The amount of respect, the unspoken communication that's happening, this highly skilled people doing this really dangerous job. I mean, this is COVID. This is like before we knew what was going on. People were dying all around them. It was scary. They were in the trenches. And then the flip side of that, they felt invisible to the common public. They felt there's a lot of feelings of invisibility, like they're just not seen. It's like, can you take care of this problem for us? The public is saying to the healthcare worker, can you take care of this problem for us? And if you don't mind, don't come over to the house. Going to the grocery store and being shunned, being on call, being on guard. These are all stories that come from veterans across the board. With healthcare workers, I hear the same thing in healthcare workers because they've been in a combat type stance.
Combat similar?
Yeah, it's very similar. And it's so it creates the same levels of exhaustion, levels of numbness, emotional numbness. When all these people want, the healthcare, they just want to connect and they want to be seen for what they've done, valued, and be free to do their work. It's incredible, the similarities in the stories and the lasting trauma, emotional traumas that are very prevalent. And it's going to take a long time for it to really sift out. I mean, I've done work with Vietnam veterans, and so like 40 years or 50 years ago, these things happened in their life that they're just now talking about. I think we're going to see the same thing in healthcare. It's funny. I've worked with healthcare people who were veterans, combat veterans and things like that. And they said they've experienced far greater loss of life during COVID than they ever saw during combat. Also, most combat trauma, it comes from experiences that lasted less than 90 seconds. Most post-traumatic stress is events that were less than 90 seconds. Well, we're talking 2 years of this every day. They're going, healthcare workers are going every day. Something's going on. That is a big burden. And so being aware of that stuff. And then if you take that and can get them to talk about it and tell a story, it's amazing to me how someone can work on a team in a hospital and still feel alone. And that happens so often because these are tough, smart, often driven people. And they just don't let their emotions out. And so people don't feel seen, even though they love each other and will do anything. All these emotions and stories, they parallel what I've heard from veterans and what I've heard from police and fire, the emergency responders outside of the frontline healthcare work.
Yeah.
That was a very long-winded answer, Shauna. You should have interrupted me a couple of times there.
No. I'm nodding in agreement and awareness. It's significant that somebody who isn't a part of that healthcare workforce tribe and culture, that you're able to see all those things and to name them and to explain them so well. So I want to transition to Frontline Songs. Mm-hmm. So how do you describe Frontline Songs? You said that this is a service.
Frontline Songs is bringing collaborative songwriting to frontline healthcare workers to help tell their stories.
And how does that unfold?
We hear from facilities. They will contact us through our website. We're recommended by people, nursing organizations, some doctors, some leaders in the field have said, hey, you should work with these friends of mine in that hospital or this hospital. Let me introduce you. So that's the reference point. And so we tell them what we do and find a way to make it work in schedules. And for instance, we just did some work with Beaumont Health in Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And we set up 3 sessions. We show up at the hospital. We get oriented with the room. There has to be certain setups in the room where we needs to be quiet. The chairs in a semicircle, not at a conference table. Very important. Conference tables denote hierarchy. So we set everything up in a semicircle, far enough away that I can not have a mask on. It's important for me to, if possible, for them to see the entirety of my face so they can see my emotions. It's important, really important. And then I, as the writer, know nothing about who I'm about to work with. That's so that when they walk into the room, I don't have a bias, a hierarchical bias in my mind. So it's really important for me as the writer to remain neutral. I introduce myself. I tell them a little bit about myself. And then I go, here's what we're going to do. We're going to write a song. Often they don't know what we're going to do. They've been asked to come to this thing. They don't really understand what they're going to do. A lot of them are nervous because they're afraid I'm going to make them sing. And so I tell them really quickly, you don't have to sing, but you will have to dance later on. So it's not a big deal. And but I try to be funny. I try to make them laugh. Try to make some jokes about myself and because I want to set them at ease. We're going to go around the room and I'll ask you questions. You can say anything you want to. It all stays in the room. And what I'm going to be doing is listening for words. And I'm listening for things that you say. You don't have to be fancy with your words. Just be honest and true. But your wording is very important. So that's what I'm listening. And I might ask you the same question 2 or 3 times.
Can you grab your guitar and do this with your guitar while you're explaining it to me? I'd love for us to kind of have a session like what you do when you do one of the workshops.
Hey,
let's do a session. Yeah.
Okay. So you walk in the room, everybody, hey, how you doing? Hi, Shauna. My name's Darden. And So yeah, welcome, sit down, and we get started. And I go, so let's just go around the room. I'd like to know, just tell me your name. Tell me what you do here, and then first off that, and I write that down. And then I go, so this COVID thing, it's been happening for a while. How are you doing with it?
That's a loaded question,
Darden.
Darden.
Exactly. That's why I asked it.
That's a loaded question.
Not how are you doing? How are you doing with this today? And so when you say that, they go, oh, wow, how am I doing today? Well, I'm okay today, And I go, what do you mean like today? She goes, well, today's a good day. I go, well, have there been other days? She goes, yeah, I'm doing okay. She goes, but I've had days, Oh, that's like, as a songwriter, that's like gold. Someone goes, I've had days. That's a song title, like, wow, I've had days. And so I go, wow, what do you mean? I've had days. Well, she goes, there's bad days. Good days, bad days, which is beautiful. That's how you build a song. And I go, okay, tell me about that. And they might say, well, I'm just exhausted, Oh, why? So it's not that I have an idea what they're talking about. I want them to tell me. So I just go like, tell me, what does that mean? And I know nothing about this work. So I go, wait. Explain that to me, please. Like, what did you just say? It's like, and so I make them like, it breaks them down, and almost, I don't want to be irritating to them, but I can sometimes I ask them enough questions to irritate them. But what that does, when people talk about emotional peaks in their life, and they are forced to repeat the story, their language gets more and more simple because these are educated people. They sometimes talk in phrases and they talk in terminology, which is not very good for songs. What you want is, I'm so lonesome I could cry. You want simple language. So you just begin to ask them questions, and then I go around the room. I give them a few minutes, 5 minutes. I go to the next person. Hey, what's your name? What's your, and while this is happening, I call it air traffic control. I'm watching everyone's face and body language while someone talks. It's amazing when someone begins to tell a emotionally charged story. Other people in the room who kind of understand, their bodies will begin to twist up. And I know I'm looking for language, I'm looking for phrases, I'm looking for key moments, and I'm not going to use everything, but I'm writing it down, and they see me writing it down. I get everyone's things. And then in that conversation, there will be some common thread. When you write a song, you have to have something to hang everything on. There has to be a foundation and underpinning of everything. So what I hear is, like, I hear, I have days. And everyone goes, yeah. I go, okay, does that ring true for everybody? Yes. Okay, that's our chorus. Boom, it's the unifying theme. Once we get that written, and that takes 10 minutes, whatever, and I start singing their words back to them, because these come from their thing, and I'm condensing words. And when I do that, they'll often go like, whoa, what just happened? Like, wow. And it's not that I'm some kind of magician. It's that whenever, if that happened to me and I didn't know anything about writing songs, it would look like a magic trick.
What does that sound like when you've just created a chorus?
At Beaumont, one of the women said, I have hope. And I went, oh, really? What are you hoping for? And she goes, I'm hoping for a change. I was like, you're hoping for a change? She goes, yeah. She goes, of the heart. She goes, I'm hoping for a change of the heart of these people that we're working with. I don't want to live in a world without hope. And I don't want to work in a place without hope. I want to come in and help people. Like, that's what I'm about. But I need to know that they're not going to hit me. And I need to know that there's a reason for me to do this. So I hear that and I go, hoping for a change, hoping for a change of heart, wondering if today is the day I can finally start, hoping for a change of heart. So that kind of fell out because I had these words. I had I didn't have the melody. I kind of had some chords because I was just sitting around right before the session. I was just messing around with my guitar and I went, oh, that's cool. Da, 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 da. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Sounds like an old Neil Young song or something. Sounds like an old song, you know? But that chorus happened. It was just like, that one just like fell out of my mouth because I had this content from them. And so then I go, okay.
How did they respond? I mean, I can tell you.
Crying.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I hear you playing that. And I can feel emotion. I can feel the warmth. But I also felt when you started playing that, a comfort, oh, that sounds so familiar. Yeah.
You feel comfortable. You feel heard. You feel seen. You feel, and it's coming back to you from a stranger. It's really powerful because it's one thing to tell your story to a peer. That's really essential to be able to tell your story to a peer because you can speak in shorthand. To tell that to a stranger and have the stranger come back, it's a powerful
affirmation. So
and once the chorus is done, then I go, okay, great. All right. So tell me where you are. And I start with the present. I go, tell me once again, like, where are you like right now? And this woman goes, anxiety, man. It's like, I am so anxious all the time. And I go, what else? You know, who else? And I go, I'm frustrated. And the woman goes, I'm tired of crying on the way to work. And the doctor, there was a doctor, he goes, man, I just feel, I come in and every day and I know my job is to alleviate pain. I'm an emergency room doctor, but I just feel like there's so much pressure and doubt and we're dealing with this anger coming at us. And it's like every day, it's like, it just turns every day. And so from that, so this would be the start of the song. High level anxiety, frustration. High level. This is the other thing is that I don't know what I'm doing melodically. So I make a lot of mistakes when I'm starting and I let them watch me make mistakes. And I always tell them at some point in this, I'm going to be sitting here in this chair going, that's when my brain is like it's like the machines are like falling into place. It's a key part of the moment. I'm going to come back to you, but I had to go off into songwriter land for a second. I'm going to come back though. High level anxiety, frustration and tears. Trying to heal the pain, I'm up against the wall. Doubt, anger, and fear. And the wheel just keeps on turning. And sometimes the words don't rhyme. But I'm still here trying to save one life at a time. Hoping for a change. Hoping for a change of heart. Wondering if today is the day I can finally start. Hoping for a change of heart. So, and by the time I sing that, there's like tears all over the place. What just happened to you is that you heard yourself in this story that was written in Michigan a couple of weeks ago, but the story is universal. There are details in it that they're like signposts, mental or emotional. I mean, I don't know how to talk. Yeah. So you're wiping tears. I can see you on the Zoom thing. What you're doing is that it resonates in you because it's true. So the only part of it that I made up was because they were talking about confusion, and confusion is it's a terrible word to put in a song. It's like it's really hard to sing the word confusion, unless you're like in a certain setting. But in this, it wouldn't work. So I was trying to figure out, how do I say confusion? And I said, sometimes the words don't rhyme. So that's really out of my life. I said, does that work for y'all? They go, totally. You get it? Yes, completely. I'm like, great. So my job is to take this massive amount of information and distill it into 5 words. That's what my 50 years of songwriting has led me here. So I go, okay, now, what was it like, let's think about 6 months ago. What was that like? Tell me about the past. And this woman said, well, it just feels like it's just been like this runaway train. It's chaos, It feels like it's calming down, and then it revs up again. And now we're in this fourth wave. And it's just like, oh my God, here we go again. And somebody said, yeah, it's like we think we have control, but we do not have control of this thing. We can't control it. I just wonder when it's going to end. Like, how low is it going to go? And this is also the emotional, the strain, the anger. It's all in there too. One woman, she was a nurse leader, like a head nurse. And she goes, how are we going to heal ourselves? So from all that kind of dialogue,
feels like we've been riding on a runaway train. The chaos to quiet and back again will never be the same. It's the wheel that keeps on spinning, and we still don't have control. And I wonder when we're gonna hit bottom, how we're gonna heal our soul. Hoping for a change, hoping for a change of heart. It doesn't have to be this way if everybody does their part. I keep hoping for a change of heart.
So, I mean, even I sing it now, like I got a little tinge of emotion in my throat just singing it.
But you know what? This time when you sang it, I felt better. I felt there was a smile from the standpoint of, I was like, man, you get it. There's that sense of, yeah, these things are all coming together. And maybe, and I'm just thinking out loud here, maybe part of that feeling better is that maybe somebody else does get it, which means there's a way out.
There's a light.
I
thought about it that way, but that does happen in there. There's a lot of tears. There's tons of gratitude happening in the room. I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. So at this point, I explain, okay, now we've got the present, we've got the past. So now let's think about where we want to go. Let's think about the future. What would the most amazing outcome be? Or what do you see happening? What would you like to happen? And this other woman said, this time is because we've just been shaken. We've been just bitterly shaken, and we need some peace. We need some relief. So, and the bridge, you have to make the bridge a little different. You have to make it different somehow than the verse and the chorus. It's called the middle eight in pop music. But
a little less division and a lot more joy, understanding and peace. These times have shaken me to the core, and we all need a little relief. I'm hoping for a change, hoping for a change of heart, hoping that today is the day we can finally start. Hoping for a change of heart. I keep hoping for a change of heart.
So that's the song. Based around their words. I have 90 minutes to do this, by the way. Start to stop. 2 hours maybe. I want to keep it really simple so I can deal with the emotion and not some sort of musical gymnastics. And then I play them the song. I said, I think we have a song. Okay? And I pronounce it closed. We have done this thing, because they want to know that they've been heard. Then I go, okay, I'm going to record this on my phone. Okay. And I'm going to make a better recording of it tomorrow. But right now we're going to record it. And then I go, wow, check this out. And I play the song and then go, whoa. And I said, now it's real. It's a song. We did this thing. You were here. You told your story. Here's your song. So now let me read this song to you. Close your eyes. And let the words come into you in a different way. It's like a different window into the house of the song. High level anxiety, frustration, and tears. Try to heal the pain. I'm up against the wall of doubt, anger, and fear. And the wheel just keeps on turning, and sometimes the words don't rhyme. And I'm just sitting here trying to save one life at a time. I'm hoping for a change of heart. Wondering if today is the day I can finally start hoping for a change of heart. So I read the lyrics to them and I say, is any part of it not true? Or resonate falsely, because we can fix it right now. So I go through that and I go, okay, I think we're good. I'm going to send you this song. When you get this song, it's yours because you wrote it. We wrote it together. So you can share this song with anyone you want to share it with. I highly recommend you listening to it a lot. And if you'll notice, when you first listen to it, you might cry. The emotional charge is very high. Listen to it about 10 more times. The emotional charge will dissipate and you'll be able to just hear it. Know that if you ever are lost or feeling like you are unseen, listen to your song, because it's a time machine. It will bring you back to this room when not only were you heard by other people that you work with, you're heard by a stranger. And I said, and play it for your families, because they may not know that you feel this way. Play it for them. Release them from expectations of how they're going to react. And I said, and also share it with your friends. Share it with people that you know, because the real risk with songs is that you're saying something that people need to hear. The real risk is that you're going to make someone's life better by sharing this. So don't keep it to yourself. That's the sort of arc of the session. The key thing, it's very important to open the session, like formally open the session and formally close the session. And it's important to explain to them that it's their song. This is not written for them. It's written with them. So the collaborative nature of it is key.
The metaphor of the cup and filling it is particularly powerful at this moment because so many people share how they're feeling. One of the words that they use is that they're just empty, that there's nothing left. When you say, I'm going to fill this cup, and when you're speaking to a group of folks who feel very empty, it does feel relieving. And then this sense of, I'm here with you. I'm going to put this in. You're going to add your things, your stories, and we're going to fill this together. And that feels powerful.
It's very powerful. And what happens during these sessions is body language changes. People sit up straighter. People smile. Quite often people who have hair, their hair will be up. By the end of the session, the hair's down. People lean forward in their chairs where before they were leaning back in their chair. And everyone there's different things that happen. And what that body language comes is an unwinding. I think an unwinding of emotion, of feeling heard, feeling comfort. I mean, I also encourage them to this was a creative endeavor. If you have a creativity, a craft, I suggest you double down on it, because it is a way to speak into the world that is not necessarily, it's private, and it can be very personal, and you can tell stories through creativity, writing, painting, cooking, whatever it is. Fly fishing, it doesn't matter. Do it, because you control that brief moment of joy that you desperately need. We need that in our lives. And that's what keeps me on the planet, is being able to express that and create my own joy on a daily basis. And that if they do that, then they can help themselves do this. They can fill the cup themselves. And one way we fill the cup is by finding our joy, So there you go.
A warm and heartfelt thanks to musician, artist, and singer-songwriter Darden Smith for sharing his songs, his voice, and his joy being on the planet, helping each of us fill our cups. Thanks also to Susan Mag-Salmon, co-director of the NeuroArts Blueprint and executive director of the International Arts and Mind Lab at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, for her dedication to growing our understanding and practice of the arts to heal and transform us. Both Susan and Darden claim that any form of self-expression is an art, and that you don't have to be good at an art form for it to have a tremendous effect on our heart, mind, and soul. That it's really about creation.
I'm here to see the miracles, so I struggle through this faith. The tears might fall in the darkness, but there's joy in the morning light.
With that in mind and on your heart, keep singing, dancing, painting, weaving, writing, baking, knitting, filming, skating, whatever that creative expression might be. As Susan shares, making art is about finding your voice, sharing your voice, and celebrating your voice.
Because we're all in this together, we can lift each other up and make it to tomorrow, holding on to love.
Our sign-off for most episodes includes, thanks for listening, and we genuinely mean that. Thank you for listening and for sharing all the See You Now stories. They're our expression of creativity, beauty, hope, and human experiences. And we hope that with every episode and story, that you'll feel seen, admired, and supported. That you'll be delighted, uplifted, inspired, transformed even. We too are hoping for a change of heart. We're incredibly grateful for another year of See You Now stories, excited about the stories coming in the new year. And we are insanely grateful for nurses in every corner of the earth and every corner of care. Where would the world be without nurses? Without its innovators, its lifesavers, and its fierce patient advocates? It takes nurses for healthcare to work. And See You Now is proud to share the stories of how nurses are improving health and transforming lives.
Make it to tomorrow, holding on to love.
From everyone at See You Now, I'm Shauna Butler. Thanks for listening, listening, and listening.
Holding on to love. I can't wait for the day when we say, oh, remember when life is more than just getting through and hope feels real again.
Nurses are transforming healthcare through innovation, compassion, and leadership. And Johnson & Johnson is proud to continue its 125-year commitment to champion nurses through recognition, skill building, leadership development, and more. The American Nurses Association is dedicated to building a culture of innovation. Nurses improve the lives of patients and communities through innovative thinking, empathetic connection, scientific rigor, and sheer determination. ANA is proud to support and advocate for our nation's most valuable healthcare resource, our nurses. For more information on See You Now and to listen to any of the earlier episodes in our library, visit seeyounowpodcast.com.
Holding on to love, yeah, make it to tomorrow.